How many of you speak Chinese? Well, neither do I. However, what I just drew right now is the Chinese character for my last name, Jin. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm half Chinese, and in Chinese culture, just like many other cultures, the son carries on the last name. Now, this is a pretty big deal because, again, in Chinese culture, it's very important for the son to carry on the family's legacy. Now, when my grandfather was about 10 years old, he decided to come to America from China on his own to meet his brother. And when I was about the same age, he told me a little bit about our family's history. What I learned was that our last name, Jin, had a lot more significance behind it than I actually thought. So the name Jin is named after a small village in China. Most Chinese last names are actually named after a small village or a place. Now, I've never personally been to this village in China because of its remote location, but my uncle has, and he told us that he drove until he ran out of road, then he had to hike through mountains and valleys before he was able to ever find this village. Now, I don't think my grandfather came exactly from this village, but our last name definitely did. So most of the people from the village Jin stayed there. However, some did decide to venture out. So my grandfather was not the only Jin to come from China. I have relatives who came from China and settled down in downtown San Francisco, which is commonly referred to today as Chinatown. My relatives actually still own a building in modern-day Chinatown. It's called the Jin Family Association, and when I was about a baby, my family would go to family reunions that were held here. My family doesn't go to the building very often anymore, and although we don't visit, we still see family around the holidays. All in all, in Chinese culture, last names have a significant meaning. Most last names originate from a small village or place, and as time passed, people from these small villages decided to venture out and come to places like America. My family was one of those, however, we decided to move a little bit more south. And I was able to learn all about my family's history by just talking to my grandparents. So, if you don't know already, I strongly encourage you to find out the origin of your last name.
Okay. Justin, how did that go?